Okay, so what is a test suite?
Test suite is a group of test cases to execute a function.
So it's a test suite is a collection of a test case or group test cases which is intended to test the application or functionality of the applications.
Okay.
What is a test script, Polly?
I don't know. I'm not ready yet. Give me a
Well,
minute.
Test script like a this is the I forgot. Test script like a all the test case continuous to write down the test
Hasib?
cases.
The test script is the script is how do I say it?
So it's a line by line description of the system transaction,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
That
Continuous
should be
description
performed
in test case.
to validate an application or system under test, right? It provides a clear step-by-step description, right? What it will be doing on what
Correct.
step, right?
Correct. Yes.
So it should perform and it should give you the expected result in each steps, in each script, right? Every line. The
Yes.
executing, it should give you your expected result that it should do this thing or that thing, right? So there is a script, right? Like automation script. Every line executing, it's performing something, right? On every line.
Yes.
What is the test bed?
Yeah, we did that. Test bed is a
Test. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay,
No,
Polly,
no,
go
no.
ahead.
I don't remember. So I'm just trying to
You don't
remember.
remember? Okay.
We
Yeah,
did that day. Yeah.
Software development environment like this.
Test
No.
bed is like like the combination of software and hardware needed for the testing to be completed.
Yes. So it's an environment that's configured for testing, that's comprised of hardware, software, network, application under test, and other related softwares, right?
Yes.
It's all included. It's called a test bed, right?
Yeah.
Why do you guys don't remember these small things? I understand.
Actually, I get confused with the script suit, like strategy is like I get it confused.
Strategy, those are the different things, right? These are the small
Yeah.
things. So
I mean,
you should,
I'm in a place now where I can give you like a one-line description, but I need to be elaborate those
why
things.
the test
a little.
environment?
Who should go first?
Yeah. Wally? Why is the test environment?
I don't know.
Why? You should know what is the test
Yeah,
environment.
test
It's
environment.
like
The things is telling
which
the
environment
telling
will
you
be
the thing.
working test case, like
The
testing, right?
software and hardware
Mm-hmm.
combination.
Yes, combined of software hardware, right?
Yeah.
It's environment
To-
where
The
you have
environment.
the
to work
combination of the
the
software hardware where the test team will perform their testing activities, right?
yes.
It's simple, right?
Can you add
Without
few
test
more lines?
environment, how
Mhm.
are you going to test it? So you
Yeah.
need to have the
Nothing.
test environment ready, where you will have all the testing
In-
related hardware, software, the configurations, right? The server,
Yes.
everything should be configured and connected to each other for your test because it will be connected to
Mm.
front end with back end, middleware, everything should be connected. If you're testing something that's flow from upper to downstream, upstream to downstream.
So who makes set of test environment? Is team test leader?
Test environment setup,
Yeah.
test environment setup done by the test engineers. So basically, there's a different team who have the admin privilege. So like database administrator, they will set up here this database, how the database will be connected. The software installation, what are the software installation needed? It will be done by enterprise level, right? They will install the softwares from the desktop, help desk, right? Whatever you need it.
Yeah.
The configuration manager will configure all the configurations. So there are a lot of things involved, a lot of teams involved. Every team will be there doing their end. So once you have this environment set up, then you can go on testing. They'll give you like the environment on this environment, the test is configured. So you go on test on this environment. So there will be a production environment, there's a test environment, there is a staging where you after test you go and stage it, then skip it before the production. So environment is nothing but is a combination of hardware and software where the testing will perform the testing activities. Simple. As an example, like application type, like what kind of application you will be testing, right?
Yeah.
The operating system, what kind of operating system you'll be using? Web
What kind of-
server, what are the
yeah.
web server you'll be using? Those are the like configurations you need to done before you test. There are database, the browser, all these things. What is the test data?
This data who we use for software testing.
The data we use like
Data.
to test, like username, password given to us for the testing
Yeah.
purpose.
Only
Like the collection of information, right?
collection of data that will be used by the testers to run their test
Tester,
cases, right?
Yes.
So while running the test cases, the user need to input those data to validate their test cases, right? And you need to prepare those test data before you start your testing, right? And this
Yes.
test data can be manually prepared, or you can use your tools to prepare your test data. What is the test closer?
Test closer. Find that our test is finished and all set up. You have to recheck the all cases, and after that close the case. And if everything is success, then we close the case. Or if you have anything to do, we're gonna
No,
transfer to developer to update.
no.
Developer. Why in the developer?
What is the test closer?
So this is the final stage of the STLC, right? The testing. So
Yes.
Yes.
and test closure, it includes the test closure report, test metrics, and what else?
Can I say like this? The test closure is like the outcome of the testing process, all the steps and documentation that we learned by testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as
Kind
it
of
is
you
the
can say
end,
that.
like the last stage, so we after we call the
You don't-
meeting.
So don't mention last state or first state. There's nothing to
Okay.
mention these things. Test closure is a documentation that is prepared by the test team before they formally tell the testing is complete, right?
Things complete.
Yeah.
So this documentation contains what? It contains number of test cases they executed, number of test cases they have created, number of test scenarios, number of defects they found, number of
Mhm.
defects they have been fixed or deferred
Outcome
or
of
not
the testing
fixed.
process. Yeah. Mhm.
All these things, right?
All the reports include there, yeah. Test metrics.
So it has all testing related activities. It has that within that documentation. So what is the black box testing? Sorry?
This black box thing is
Okay, go ahead.
that
tell
kind of
Rahul.
software without knowing the code.
That kind of software, no. I don't want to hear that like that.
This software
I want to
testing
hear
is
a
like
more formal way. Polly,
this non-functional testing.
Polly,
I'm just trying to. So black box testing is just the testing the functionality of the application without knowing anything about the code. It is what tester do testing the application by using it. I can give you an example.
okay.
Let's see. That's one answer, like without knowing the
So
code.
black box testing is software testing method, right? In which
Yes.
the tester evaluates or tests the functionality of the software under test without knowing the internal code structure
Internal
or
code,
the internal
Yes.
code, right? And this can be applied every level of the software testing, like testing, integration system, and acceptance
In
testing,
all
right?
level. Yeah. Yeah.
It can be applied to functional or even non-functional testing.
Can we say that the black box testing is almost like we are testing how the user is going to view the? No,
No.
not from the user's point of view. No,
No.
because yeah,
What is the gray box testing?
the combination of white
It's a
and
combination of the white box and black box. I can't tell.
That's all?
No, it's a combination of that. So the tester who works on this type of the testing need to have the access to the design document. They need to have the access, and it helps to create better test cases in this process, right?
Anything else?
Not at this moment.
So these kind of testers have
and both knowledge of
knowledge
both
of functional and coding
No,
structure, right?
non-functional.
Yes.
So he can assist better in both areas, right? And he
Yes.
can create
Yes.
the test cases better than just normally we have a black box testing knowledge or we have just a white box testing. What is the test strategy?
This is the high level, all kind of high level document. How we gonna process the test, our test scenario?
So the test strategy is the outline of the description, the testing.
Team will follow, but
Yeah, yeah.
It's a high level documentation and usually developed by the project manager.
Develop.
And
How
how
we
we
run all
approach.
description, how to run the project.
So it's a document that captures the approach on how to go about testing the product and achieve our goals, right?
Goals.
Yes.
And it is normally derived from the
Business requirements.
business requirement specification BRS document, right?
Yes.
Like test plan, right?
Yes. And we do build the test strategy before the test plan.
So what is the test plan then?
Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Test plan is the documentation which contains all the plans of how we are going to test all the activities and to deliver a quality product.
So what you said, how we want to test all the activities? That's not right, right?
Okay. So test plan is a document which.
I know what you're trying to say, but what you're saying is not correct.
Okay.
Tell.
Test plan is a document which contains the plan for all testing activities to deliver a quality product. Is that okay?
No.
It's like the plan for all the testing activities to be done to deliver a quality product, right?
Yeah.
And this it includes like this.
Yeah, and it derives from the product description, SRS, and the
use case document
yeah.
for all future activities of the product.
And it
project.
contains like test plan, reference, introduction, in scope, out scope, risk and
Software
exit entry
risk,
criteria, features to be tested.
exit criteria and entry
Yeah.
criteria. Yeah, in scope and out scope.
Yeah, and test deliverables.
Yeah.
Responsibilities.
And suspension criteria, right?
Yeah, exit entry criteria, suspension. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Approaches, requirements like the hardware, software requirement. all
It
these
also
things.
explain include the environment and the
Yes,
tools.
software environment.
So,
and
what is the test
responsibilities.
coverage?
Test cover is like what should be testing based on the requirement, business requirement. How much will be testing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it like the method used to
Test coverage, what it does, it helps to measure the amount of testing you're performing by a set of test cases, right?
Yes.
And this test coverage can be done on both functional and non-functional, right?
yes.
And it assists tester to create tests that covers the areas that are missing, right?
Isn't it the test coverage is like what percentage of the test cases was
Yeah,
Was done.
executed,
yes.
passed, failed, like
Yeah.
RTM, right?
Yeah.
With the RTM, you can find out the test coverage, right? Because it will give you how much test cases pass, run, how much test cases pass, how many is failed, right? How many pass, how many defects there, it is fixed or not. So by calculating all these things, you can find what is the test coverage of your testing activities.
Testing activities.
So if there is 80% pass, 20% fail, it should be 80% coverage, not 100% yet, right?
Hmm.
So what is the test report? So what is the test report?
Test report is also some kind of document when we finish the test and finalize, we make a report. To finish the test, we make a report.
No, you're not telling inside things. Only Asif?
It's just the document which provide like what was testing and
So it's a
what
document
was
that provides overall
overall
overview of the testing objectives,
information
right?
of the
Activities
testing.
and results, right?
Yeah, all the
Testing
process
objectives,
and the
activities
results
and
and
results.
yeah.
What you want to do, their objectives, what you did, and what is the result.
The
So
result.
objective, activities, and result. It provides you overview of these three things, right? And it also gives you
Yeah, this
summarized
data.
testing results and comparing them against your expectation, right? With actual and expected result, right?
Correct.
And that by that you can determine whether your product is ready for release or not. So you have 100 scenarios, test cases. You ran 90 of them, you still 10 scenario left to run. Now that will decide, that will give you whether you want to go release or you need to complete that 100 test cases or not, right? If you run 100 of them, there is a 20 bugs, severe bugs. That will give you inside that whether you're going for the release or not, right?
Yes.
So those are the things it provides. Additionally, it allows you to see the current status of the project and assess the quality of the product, right? Whether you can
Yeah.
finish on time or not, whether you can give the release to the customer or not. So a report complies of all the activities you have been doing beginning of the project until end of their completion.
Including the results, yes.
So, So what are the deliverables during your testing activities?
Test plan, test metrics.
Or what are the artifacts?
So artifacts are
Artifact-
the like. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Artifacts in the system. How do you process?
No, what is the
That-
artifacts?
Artifacts is like a deliverable what we provide to the stakeholders of a software project, right?
What is artifacts?
Artifact is like providing details of the providing details is a document which one provide the details about the project to the stakeholders.
Artifacts is an item that is produced during the development process.
No.
We're all saying
No,
wrong.
there's the testing. There's the testing part.
Artifact is a system. How do we test?
No,
So artifact is the document, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Like
That provides
details to the stakeholder.
Provides the
details
architect
information, right?
Yeah,
detail,
details information to the
design
stakeholders.
function and software functions and everything. Yeah.
On
On the software.
every phase of the SLE process, right?
Software project, right?
No, so Udin bhai, please go ahead and explain it again.
Yeah.
I think we all messed it up.
So an artifact is a document that provides and details information on every phase of the SDLC process. So like requirement phase, right, is the one of the process of the SDLC, right?
Yes.
In
So-
design, in requirement process, what are the artifacts you can have?
The
Requirement,
requirement.
right?
Yes.
Requirement documentation, right? Requirement
Okay.
analysis, right?
Okay. So artifact is like every documentation that we have
So
on
it's
each
the document
phases.
that provides a detailed information on every phase of the SDLC
Okay,
process.
got it.
Okay.
Got it. Like in requirement, that is the requirement document. On the testing phase is the testing document, test descriptions, test names. Okay. On the
Like in testing phase, you have a test plan, test
Test
scenario, test cases, test data, right?
yes,
Test
these
closure
are all
report, all these
artifacts.
things, right?
These are all artifacts. Yeah. Okay.
Test
So list
harness.
out some test deliverables.
Test plan, test case, what is called traceability metrics, test script, test suite,
Test
report,
strategy, test
release
data.
note, release note.
Yeah.
So it's the
Test
same thing,
harness.
right? The artifacts and the test deliverable is the same thing.
These are all
Yeah.
artifacts, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Both are same thing.
Yeah, artifacts are
Uh,
deliverable is the
What
same.
is test deliverable? What is test artifact is the same thing, and
Is the same.
it's
Yep.
same.
Okay. Okay. But in test deliverable, do we provide like the requirement artifact in for each steps, right? And deliverable is by the end of the project, right? Or
No,
no, the deliverable is throughout the project. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course, in every phase
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
project.
we have deliverables on each steps. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Like there are 7 or 8, including the deliverable. Yeah.
but is requirement documentation is also a deliverable?
Yes.
Okay.
Once you get the requirement, you analyze it, right? Analyze and
Yeah.
then you have to send back to the customer for their approval, right?
So that's a
What you
deliverable.
found,
Correct.
what is your
Yes.
observation, what is your
Okay.
suggestion?
So can we start by saying that artifacts are nothing but deliverables throughout the whole process of software testing, from the beginning of the requirement phase to the end of the
So a
project?
simple artifact is a document that provides a detailed information on every phase of the LTC process.
LCLC process. Okay.
It also called it as deliverables like test plan, test cases, RTM, etc.
Okay.
You can say that too.
Okay. I'll remember this now. Okay.
Okay, so these are the
I have a question that one of my friend told me, like that's a very common question they ask, that what is your day-to-day of daily activities as a tester?
we are not going right now those things.
Okay, later.
Okay, so these are the some of the questions from previous,
Yes.
and you guys not even 30% competent.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, so where I stopped. Okay. I think I stop until list of deliverables, right? Okay, what are the most common components of a defect report?
We can't see your screen.
Hold on. Okay. So what are the some common components of the defect report?
Defect mean bug report, no?
Yeah, defect report or bug report.
Yeah.
What are the fields? What are some components of the defect
Defect
report?
ID, the
Yeah,
summary,
defect ID.
Summary, yeah.
reporter
Mhm.
name, and the how they log the defect and who logged the defect, and the project name and the
Time.
version.
Time
Yeah.
distributed. Yeah, time when it
Yeah.
The
was
project
found.
name, the
And
module
the
name, right? Which
build
modules or
version.
functionality you are working,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
defect ID,
yeah,
defect detected by, right? Who detected,
Mhm.
yeah.
right?
Who the person worked on it? Yeah,
And then defect detected on which the defect is detected, right?
Yeah.
yes,
The priority, the severity, right? These most two major
yes.
things you are skipping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
priority, severity,
Priority,
Priority and
severity,
severity,
environment. Yeah.
and
And
the
defect resolved by, right?
yeah,
So
but
these are the some of the things, right? There
yeah,
will be a
and report. Yeah,
some other, if it depends on the organizations, they'll fix like versions. They can have like a when the defect closing defect closing date,
yeah.
defect
When
open
it's
date,
solved.
all these things will be there.
Mhm.
But you can say anything. These are the some major things that every defect report will have, right? The
Yeah.
severity, priority, detected by, resolved by, project name, module name. So these are like major
These are the major
components.
ones. Yeah, these are the
There
common
are
ones.
like a,
Yeah. Common. Yeah.
there are like a lot of other components can be there.
Depending on the teams and
Yeah.
how they work. Yeah.
How they want to put their defect report. So what are the different categories of debugging? What is the debugging, first of all? What do you mean by debugging?
Debugging means like solving the defect.
Modifying.
Solving not defect, solving
It's
the
like
errors.
modifying, right?
No.
Not modifying. You can say like finding and solving the errors within the computer programming, right?
Yeah, debugging is
That is stopping you from running it properly, right?
correct.
So when you're trying to run a script or you're trying to do something, you cannot do it.
So like when we are detecting a defect is also part of debugging. And after that, when the
Yeah.
developer is
Yeah.
fixing it, that's also part of the debug.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
Baya
but
said, like
normally-
find and
Normally
finding and
debugging
solving.
is we use during our script, right? Debug the script,
Yeah. Yes. Like there
not
is like
not in
find it.
like defect
Yeah.
area.
Okay.
Normally, like
Yes.
automation script, they are writing it when we run the automation script, and we say like let's debug it and find what's the issue. Why the script is not working as I expected. That means I need to go to the script and see which script is failing.
Yeah. Find out
So
and
there
then
is a
solve it.
debugging, like finding the error and solving it.
Yeah.
So there are several categories of debugging that includes. What is that? Any idea?
The steps.
Like brute force debugging, forcefully debugging. Like the script I'm running from 1 to 10, right? 10
Okay.
line of code I'm running. The first line is executing, second line executing, third line is not executing since, and then what happening? The program is getting out. Right? It's like exiting, right? It's not doing
Yes.
anymore.
Okay.
Now through the debug mode, when I run it, I can forcefully skip that one, that
Yeah.
line, and go for the fourth line and
Yeah.
fifth line and so on. So it's like forcefully I'm debugging it.
So what does it call? Force debugging.
Yeah, force debugging.
Okay.
Another one is backtracking, right?
Backtracking.
Yes.
Okay.
You know backtracking?
Following like go to the backward, like from the last
Yeah,
step to
like
go back. Yeah.
yeah, like you went maybe like 1 mile and now you're coming back 1 mile back, right?
Yeah.
So same way, like you are exiting the script.
Retracing the
Maybe you
steps.
went to the
Yeah.
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 You went until 9. Maybe there is another 9-line code, but you are going again on the third line maybe and start again. So it's like backtracking. Cause elimination, right? One of another debugging category. Cause elimination means like eliminating the issue, the problem area of the script.
So like I'm running it, there's one page it's not opening. I'm just giving an example. So that
Yeah.
is the cause I find and then fix that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe I take out and for now and see other things. Maybe I'll fix that later.
Cause eliminating. Okay.
Right. And then fault tree analysis.
Fault tree analysis.
Yes.
Okay.
So the script is kind of like a tree, right?
Yeah.
So I can go in any branch and try to find what are the fault, in which branch it has a fault, right? And I can analyze it.
Yeah.
And then another one is program slicing. Means like I'm dividing the bigger program, like 100 line of code, into several small modules.
Small pieces and yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And
small modules, right? And then
yeah,
run
small
it
modules.
and
Yeah.
check it,
Small modules.
debug it. So it will be easier for me to debug that codes. So those are the like several categories. One is force debugging, backtracking, cause elimination, fault tree analysis, and program slicing.
Program slicing. Okay.
So what are some common mistakes that lead to major issues?
Not following the requirement documentation.
Police? Anything else? What are some common mistakes that you make and it will lead to like major issues? One of them not following the requirement, right?
Yeah.
If you're not following the requirement, not going to the requirement, you will not know what to do
Yeah. What is
and where to go.
expecting and what should be the actual result?
Yes.
Also
Yeah.
follow the time, like sprint time.
Time management. I don't know.
Yes. So you need to also follow your timing, right?
Time.
Yes.
Throughout your workday, instead of wasting the time, you need to utilize your time, activities, right? What else?
Follow your team lead.
No.
Like have a proper strategy before starting to work. Like
Yeah. So you have to
design.
have you have to have like proper process, right?
Yeah.
In table, right? Your team or you should have follow the process, right? Like your team process defined by your team, right? The process they want to test, document it, execute it, result, keep, right? Everything is there. A process the team is defined. Now you're not following that and you're doing your way, right?
Testing
Yes.
all type of scenarios.
And
Yeah,
if they don't
whatever
keep
it
track
is,
on their
anything.
work,
Like,
right?
Yeah.
yes.
Also,
So there will
before
be
is the-
mismatch with your
Yes.
team, right?
Yes.
Maybe you kept the document somewhere else and team defined where to keep it, right? So everyone can go and find it. Now you didn't keep
Yeah.
it there, you keep it somewhere. Now they need to ask you where it is. Maybe you are not there that time.
Not
that
having
give you,
proper
like, time.
documentation.
Consuming, right?
Yeah.
So not
Also
following the
ti-
exact process
Yes.
defined by your team. Another one is what?
Team environment
Improper
setup.
improper resource allocation, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The resource you allocated is not properly allocated, right?
Mhm.
Maybe you allocated a person who doesn't have scripting knowledge and you gave him to do the automation.
Yeah.
Or
Not-
maybe he has some knowledge, but you gave the work you gave that require more automation knowledge. What he's going to do? He's going to waste his time. He's going to find the things to do one line of code. You need to find different things how to do that, right? And whereas who is automation engineer, he can write it within a minute, right?
Mm.
So it's like improper resource allocation is one of the major mistake that keeps the team in a major issues. Another one is what? Poor scheduling, right? The scheduling, if you cannot do the scheduling properly, it will
Yeah.
give you a lot of headache, right? You lose time, you lose hours of work, you'll mess up the activities. So poor scheduling means like managing, meeting, all these things. When to do. And most important, understanding, right? Underestimating, right? So never
Yeah.
underestimate anything there.
Yeah.
You
It's
can
not a
do
big
within
deal.
a
But yeah.
big deal. I can do it in 10 minutes. So leave it right now. Let's have a fun right now. I'll come after 1 hour and do it. You can do it. So
Also,
these are the
is it,
major mistakes.
so
Common.
like having like a proper description of the test case or bug defects, because if it's not understandable by everyone, then it's hampering
Yeah.
the process. Yeah, that's also, yeah.
These
So
are
you
like,
need
like
to-
some major things.
Yes.
Also
okay.
like minor incidents, but these are
Yeah,
the major
These
issues
are the
that
major
will
major
leave you
issues. Yeah.
like
Proper test plan,
disaster
scheduling,
on your team, right?
communication.
Yeah, and ignoring also some small issues, right?
Yeah, scheduling, not
Poor
giving
scheduling,
enough.
not
Yeah.
understanding proper
Yeah.
resource allocations, not following the process,
Yeah.
team, all these things.
Okay, following the process. Yeah. Okay.
So all the things I have told here is kind of like very basic things you should
Yes.
know, and you should
Yes.
be able to answer these questions.
Yeah, I think the
Clearly,
confidence is one of the reason that
properly.
we are getting stuck a little bit.
Yeah.
With practice, we'll be better.
And I don't know, like also I would like to get the question. Like we can prepare our answer and Uddin Bhai will give his answer, but first I would like to receive only the question.
But
So-
yeah, but these are the common. I mean, we have done these things, so we should be able to answer these by
Oh,
our
sure.
knowledge. Yeah. So it's just because I think when we hear the question, we start thinking so many things rather than focusing on what we learn. So yeah, it's just gonna with time. I think we are gonna be better and practice.
Okay. So what are the level of testing? Polly?
But this is the like, and I get confused. Like types of testing, level of testing. That's the thing I get confused.
Why?
Like I know,
It's
I
the
don't know.
same
So,
thing.
huh?
Label is
It's the
4
same
types.
No,
Not
like
same
what's
thing.
what is
Not
that?
same thing.
Not same thing.
Not the same. No, it's
No,
not
no,
the
no,
same.
no. Level and
Like types of testing, level
it's
of
difference.
testing. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, but
Different.
why confused? I don't see any confusion. Yeah.
Like I get
Because-
confused. It's no, I
What are
get
the types
confused.
of testing?
Yes.
There are like hundred
Functional-
of type of testing is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100 of
And-
type testing.
Okay.
Level
What
is
is the
full,
level of
full
testing?
level.
Full level. What are the levels?
Unit,
Unit
integrated
testing,
system, acceptance.
integration system, and
Yeah.
user acceptance.
So
Yeah.
what is the confusion here?
Okay.
Because we are new, that's why.
Like
Okay,
whenever
there are like
you
four
do the
Testing
yeah.
levels, right? Unit testing or
Yeah.
component level testing, right? Another one is integration testing. Another one is system testing.
So what is the
Acceptance.
black box, white box testing?
Exception
What
testing.
is the I don't
This
know.
functional.
Oh, testing method, testing level, types of testing.
Yes,
That's
those
what I
are
get
like
confused.
those are the methods of the testing: black box, gray box,
Yeah,
white.
so
Yes.
I get confused whenever
Type
level.
of testing
which one
is
the
like
level? Which one is the
different thing.
method?
Yeah, internet fooled me over here. Because test types, when I said test type, it shows in internet test, I mean unit test, integration test, software
Yeah,
performance test,
all
and
kind of
security
tests, gorilla test,
Yeah.
monkey testing.
But the
fuzz
levels are
testing,
4 level, right?
sanity
Yeah.
testing,
Now
ad hoc
I'm-
testing, smoke testing.
Yeah.
There are more than 100 of testing there.
But the level we have 4.
4.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah, you're saying now, but a little bit later also I get confused.
no, I didn't read this documentation. That's why, because I tried to find out the questions online.
I did send you, right?
Yes, but I didn't
Why
went
didn't
through all
read
of them.
it?
I didn't went through all of them yet. Yeah.
You know, that's why I told read 10 phase, forget 11 phase. Like this.
I read 10 page, forget 11 page, but at least remember that 10 page. That's fine, you forget 11 page.
Because read, but forget again and again, and again.
Okay, so what is the unit testing?
Unit testing is one of the testing who provide like in a developer and use the code to start run the software.
Only
It's like testing the small modules, like the by the developer. Like it's like the code system.
Yeah, start from developer, use the code.
Hasib?
Unit testing in the software testing is a method by which we test individual units.
Mhm. Like testing the small or single modules, right? Or components.
Yeah, like with
Yes.
each functionalities.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
So is unit testing is also called module testing or component testing, right? Because here we are testing each modules or each component
Or
separately as
component,
a
yeah,
unit,
separately.
right?
Yep.
And
Yep,
this
yep.
testing is done by the developer as a unit level, right?
Okay.
To check what the source code is working properly or not, right?
Not.
We hear the source code so many times. What is like a proper definition of what is source code?
Source code is nothing but the code, actual code
Actual code, like a
behind that.
programmer use the code, this code.
Behind that page, right? Like you see the home page, right? Yahoo.com.
Yes.
Every button, every that animation you're seeing, everything has the code behind that, right?
Yeah, there's a script there.
So
Yeah.
there is the source code.
That's the source
You're
code.
not
Okay.
seeing that code, you're seeing the
Yeah.
page.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is the integration testing?
Integration testing is testing after code the use the developer and change the function to work, integrate the work. And normally tester do the job.
Anyone else?
Integration testing is like where like multiple units or components of a software application is tested together.
Integrated,
Integration
yeah.
testing is the process of testing to connectivity the small modules is we just connect this like in unit testing, they do it's single, and integration is like we connect with one module with another.
Yeah, so it's a process of testing to check the connectivity.
Connectivity.
Integration. Okay, got it.
Like
Integrated.
we
Yeah.
connect.
Wow.
Integrated
Like the unit testing, they do
environment, right?
one by one, but the
you're
integration testing
checking
we do connect.
When you integrate different softwares or different hardware together,
Mhm.
how the system is working,
Or
right?
can we say like we integrate multiple functionalities together?
Yeah,
How
you can
they?
say multiple functionalities or multiple units,
Okay.
couple of units tested together.
Through data. Yes, through data.
Any way you can do it. Sometimes this integration testing also call as a string testing.
It's string testing, yeah.
Okay, is a good example is like that when like I'm clicking a button to do search. So how it's
Yes.
working with like the backend everything, and that's
Yes.
when
So
we
it's going
test
to
the
the,
whole process. That's a integration testing.
of course, the server is connected to the some other components,
Yeah,
right?
where
Backend,
from the
where
database, fetching the data from the database. Yeah.
it's connecting database and getting the data from the database server, and then you're
Mm.
giving the result. It finds. So there is like a middleware, your front end UI, where you're
Yes.
making a search.
Correct.
There might be middleware connected, and then middleware connected can be a backend server.
Backend. Yes. So
But
to
in
get
integration testing, there are some approaches like top down, bottom up. So what is
Yes.
the
So it is also divided into
Sandwich.
different approach, like Big Ben
Mhm.
approach, top-down approach, bottom-up approach, and sandwich or hybrid approach.
So what is the role in integration testing? Those
And
approaches,
this
what the
process
role
is
they
carried
play?
out by what?
Carried
How
out
they
by
done?
by the
tester.
developer.
Tester.
So these carried by like dummy programs called stubs and drivers, right?
Yeah, because tester don't know like all the like the design and the backend and everything.
No.
Yeah. To do
It's
a
like a
integration testing, you
simulation.
have to have
Simulate the data
yeah.
through this module and see what is the result coming up.
Mhm.
So when you do the integration testing, after done with unit testing,
Yes.
you start with unit testing, right? Yeah, integration testing.
Integration.
Prior to integration, you need to done the unit testing, right?
No, but yeah, my question was like, what is the role of approach in
Okay,
those
will come.
approach in the
Will
integration
come.
testing? Okay, it will come. Okay.
And I also gave in the documentation, right? What is the Big Ben, top down, bottom down? Did you guys read that?
But I forgot.
Okay.
That's why, yeah, we will study. Yeah.
Okay, these are like some of the subdivision of the unit integration testing, right? Approaches.
Okay.
Then what is the system testing?
System
It
testing
is-
after we integrate the all product, how system work. This is the system testing. Also, this testing normally do in the tester.
Anyone else?
Like testing the fully integrating application is called system testing, is also called as the end-to-end testing, which is done by the tester, and it
Yes.
verifies the testing every input like is checked or it meets the desired like the or requirements.
So testing fully integrated applications, right?
So the system testing is like after doing all the unit testing and integration testing and developing all the functionalities, test the whole
Yeah, once
system.
you're done unit testing and integrate that
Yeah.
hardware
When the full
software, right?
system is
Then you're
integrated and
fully
test the system.
testing the system, right? That is like
Yeah.
end-to-end testing.
Okay.
You're doing.
That's why it's called
It's
end-to-end.
like fully integrated
Yeah.
testing,
Yeah, application.
where
Yeah.
you're testing whole application as a one system
Mhm.
to
Like
identify whether
testing
your
the whole system as a whole.
system has met specific requirements and is working as your expectation. So is the difference between the system testing and integration testing?
In integration testing, we connect one unit with the other one, but the system, we check the whole system as a whole.
Yeah, how system work.
Integration testing is like how multiple units are performing as a combine. We test that on integration
Yeah, like
testing.
we check the connectivity.
Yeah, but in the system testing, we test the whole system
Yeah.
as a unit, how they are working, yeah, not as a
So
unit,
integration
as a whole
testing
system.
is like interface of two individual modules or more than two, right? You're connecting and testing it.
Yes,
Whereas system testing, you're
is the whole system.
testing the complete software application, right? Whole system, right? What else?
Which one? Integrated testing more?
So integration
I mean,
testing is a low-level testing, whereas system testing is a high-level testing, right?
oh, yeah.
Because that's your
Yes.
end-to-end testing, so that's the high-level testing, right?
Okay.
Anything else? So integration testing perform after unit testing, and system testing is perform after integration testing, right?
Integration.
Integration testing, yeah.
The different type of integration testing like top-down, bottom-up, Big Bang, sandwich,
Sandwich, yeah.
and different type of system testing are kind of what? Regression, sanity, retesting, load testing, performance testing, those are the
Okay.
right.
Is unit
So there are-
testing as a type of system testing? No.
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 No. Okay. Sanity testing is a part of system testing, right?
So
Yeah.
integration testing can be performed both tester and developer, right? But system testing performed by only testers,
Developer.
right?
Only
Only
Yeah,
testers,
tester.
not developers.
Tester.
The tester, yeah.
Integration can be performed both developer and tester, but system testing performed by only tester. Developer don't do that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Testing.
Not really.
Not really.
Uh,
There are a lot of
There
things.
is so much, but not from
there's
me.
so much, yeah.
Yeah, but not from me at this moment.
So integration testing only covers the functional testing, right? Doesn't
Yes.
cover non-functional. Whereas system testing cover both functional and non-functional.
Oh, yeah, that's another point. That's a good
That's a
point.
good
Yeah.
one, yeah.
So
Okay,
first
so
we
what is
describe-
the Big Bang approach?
What is that?
what is the Big Bang
What is
approach?
the Big Bang approach? Like integration testing have different approaches. What is the Big Bang approach?
Is it for integration testing or system testing? System, right now.
System.
This
It
is the
system testing.
approach of the integration testing. Big Bang, top-down, bottom-up, sandwich, right? There are like four
It's a
approaches
kind of
within
integration
the
testing?
integration testing. So it's combining all modules together once, right? And verifying
Yes.
the functionality after
It's almost like a system testing, right?
completing all the individual models testing, right?
Okay, got it.
Big Bang, like Big
Yeah.
Bang theory, right? What happened?
Yeah.
Everything was together and then it's Big
Yeah.
Bang, right?
Okay, so combine
So
all of
combining
them
all the
together.
modules once together, right? And then verifying the functionality of the application after completing the individual modules testing, right?
System
Whereas
testing.
top-down and bottom-down are carried
Bottom
by
up.
using by driving modules like stubs and drivers. And these stub drivers are used to simulate the communication between those modules, right? It's kind of like a fake data, mock-up data. Not actual driver or actual data, but we mock up the data in a way that the system takes as a test. It determines that, okay, he got the data to simulate that communication between the modules. Got it or no?
Got it, but I mean, let's go over we understand the Big Bang and the top down, bottom down, bottom up.
Top down approach, it take like it's a first it tested on the upper level and then it goes down the lower level modules.
What do you mean by
And then
upper
finally it
level?
will integrate it, right? So let's say you have application, right? Where you're doing the search, right?
Mhm.
On the web page. So in upper level module, what it will be? What will be the upper level module? You have a backend, right?
So okay, so fetch from so yeah, from
So
when
your
the
front end is the upper level, right? There is a mid level. It's
yeah, front
connecting
end is
your,
not
right?
upper level. Yeah,
Front end is your upper level, right?
front end is upper level, or the from the how it's fetching data from the database. That's that's not upper level.
Which one? So you tell me. Front end is your upper level or your back end is upper level?
To me, back end, but as far as you're saying, the front end is the upper level where we are going to input what we are
So
searching.
now you're, even though you're taking this backend, right?
Yeah.
The database, but what you're searching, then based on the database, right?
Oh,
That is
okay.
your higher priority, right?
Yes. If I can't input what I'm searching, I can't search it in the back. So yeah, the front
Yeah.
end should be the upper level. Okay.
So the upstream data is flowing to the downstream. What are you inputting? The data is flowing through until downstream and fetching it from there, finding it, and then taking back to you.
So
If there is a
top-down
data,
approach
right?
is like
So it's like top to bottom, top down.
okay. So for
It's
a
going from
functional
top to down.
okay.
And
Okay.
bottom up means like opposite way. We're
Okay.
testing first of all, like my backend where the data connectivity
Yeah.
database server is there or not, and then come to middleware, and then coming to the UI.
UI. Okay. Yep. Got it.
Following?
Yes.
So this testing takes place, top-down approach takes place, top of the bottom, like high-level modules that are
Yeah.
tested first and then low-level modules.
No, no.
And finally, you're testing with integrated level, both the modules, high and low, to ensure that the system is working as you're expected, right?
Yeah.
So here the data are using kind of like a stubs, fake data or mock-up data, temporary data, to see your integrated module is ready or not. It is not your actual data.
Yeah.
And same as like bottom up approach here is like opposite of the top down approach. Here your testing will be take place from the bottom to up, like lowest level to the highest level.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Got it.
Like top down is like the high to low, and bottom up is low to high.
Yes.
So clear?
Yes. Before we don't read the one kinds of integration, but that's fine.
You didn't read it?
What is that?
Yes.
Why?
Now
The
before
document
our
also is
note,
there.
we
Of course,
don't see like
So
kind of
by
course it is
saying
there.
that we don't have the note for the like Big Bang,
kind of
top down,
integration test.
Oh
bottom up.
yeah, it just mentioned in the note. It's no, there is no detail provided. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went through that. I have the slides.
I think you went. I
I
don't know
went
if
through
I
those
was there or
things.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned couple of times top down, like bottom up.
I went through. You
Yeah.
guys don't remember. Okay. So as you're saying, like in testing, what are the steps and the drivers? What is the steps? Steps is like a small piece of code, right? That is called by a module under test.
Yes.
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, I didn't understand.
So what are the stubs and the drivers?
Stubs in the drivers?
Stubs, S-T-U-B-S,
Stubs. Okay, stubs in
and
the
drivers.
okay, stubs and the drivers. Okay.
Yes. So drivers, you know, right? Drivers is a kind
Yeah.
of like a software that
Mhm.
needs to install within your computer system to interact with the external devices like printer, right? You should have a printer drivers installed in the system so
Yes.
that it can connect with the
Okay.
printer and print your things, right? So it is nothing but a modules or instructions given to the computer hardware. When you click the print, it should take that instruction and print it. Find the printer and print it from there, right?
Yeah.
Like the C drive, D drive, those and print for printing, we need the printer driver.
Not
That
C drive, D drive.
No,
Those are the drive,
no.
but no, those are the drive. But drivers is kind of a software. It's like program, small program.
Driver. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
program
like-
small.
Yeah.
You need to install it. For
Like
the
for
mouse, you
your
need to
graphics
install
card
that.
to
Yeah.
perform, you need driver for your graphics card.
Yes.
Yes.
For the printer to work, you need a driver for the printer.
For
Like
mouse, you need to have a mouse driver installed in the
Yes.
computer. For the screen, you need to have that VGA
Yeah.
drivers installed, right?
Yeah.
So those are the drivers. Then what is the stubs? Stubs also same thing is a piece of code that is called during your test when you're testing a module, right?
Is it a dummy code or
It's a dummy, yeah. It's a
Okay.
dummy, fake data, dummy code. They create a dummy code to interact to see how the module is working. So it's like a fetch within the systems, computer system, so that the computer can knows that they have the data and it can simulate.
Okay.
So those are the stubs and the drivers in manual testing. We use something called mockup data.
Okay.
So that we can, even though we don't have a data, we can test the things with that data, mockup data with the stubs of the drivers.
So they're not gonna ask us the question like what is stubs and what is drivers. They're gonna ask us like what is stubs and drivers, or they
They
can
can
ask
ask
us.
them anyway, what are the stubs of
Yeah,
drivers?
I mean,
if you don't have
they-
a
I mean,
test
if they
data, how
ask
you
us
can simulate your testing activities.
Yeah, but what are the if they ask me like I can explain what is drivers are. If they ask me
The
what
stubs
is
is small piece
stubs,
of code that is
The-
called by the
it's the same
modules of the
thing
test.
like driver
Yeah,
or is
and driver also a small piece of code, same thing.
okay. Stubs are like a small piece of dummy code.
Yeah,
Or-
stubs and drivers are like a small
Okay.
piece of code that is
Okay.
called by the modules under test.
I
or
can't
to
hear you.
simulate.
Yeah, it's breaking. Internet problem.
Yeah, so simply you can say end-to-end testing is a methodology used to test the entire software
Software.
from beginning to end.
Beginning to end. Yeah. Okay. That's a better wording. Yeah.
You know, what is the purpose of doing the end-to-end testing? What is the purpose? Why you are doing the end-to-end testing? And in your working, a lot of time you have to do end-to-end testing.
To find out that each
Sometimes we
of-
call it a happy path, like data flowing from upstream to downstream.
Yeah, to check the all requirement was fulfilled, like the how we like the put the input, the output was like the expected way.
and
Yeah,
each
so-
of the functionality from the beginning to start is working as per expectation.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the purpose is for this thing is to ensure that the application flow or it behaves as we expect, right?
Yes.
In other words, you can say like it helps to define the system dependency and ensure that all integrated pieces work together as expected. So you can say that too. It helps you define the system dependency if there is any, right? And it ensures that all the integrated pieces that you combine together work as you expected,
Okay.
like whole as a system, right?
Okay.
Yeah, whole of the system. Yeah.
There is a purpose of the end-to-end testing, right? Now, why the end-to-end testing is important?
So before you put the product in the market for user, like the for the user. So we have to make sure that it meets client or users expectation requirement.
End-to-end
So-
testing is very important because we have to ensure that the whole system is functioning properly.
And system was built as expected.
As per requirement or
Yeah.
The integration system is
So the basic thing here important is because here you have many subsystems, right?
Yes.
If any of the system fails, then your whole system is gonna fail, right?
Yeah.
So your subsystem can make
Make
effect
sure
from your entire
production
system, right?
is accurately.
So the risk of failing any of the system can be avoided if you're doing the end-to-end testing, right? That's why it's important. Because when you do end-to-end testing, you are testing the whole subsystems within that system. Every system is
each
being
of them, yeah.
tested so that the risk of the failing any subsystem is avoided and your end-to-end testing is success. Right? And what is the benefit of this end-to-end testing? When you're doing the end-to-end testing, it gives you expanded test coverage, right? Because you're doing everything, right? Possible
Yes.
of testing, right? So your coverage is expanded, right? The whole coverage is more than you test. And it also ensures the correctness of the application, right? The application is correctly working as expected, right?
Yeah.
And it also reduce the flaws by detecting the bugs within the system, right? Because when you're doing the end-to-end
The
testing, you
risk,
might get
yeah.
more defects and you need to fix those things, right? So those are some of the benefits you will be getting it
From end-to-end testing. Yep.
from end-to-end testing.
Yep. There are so many benefits from that.
There are a lot of other benefits like reducing the time to market, reducing the cost.
How is end-to-end testing reducing the cost? Because if we don't do
Yeah.
it and if
Yeah,
we let
that's-
like some bugs go before, don't find the bugs before the release, then we
yeah,
have-
they're reducing the cost because let's say you don't do the end-to-end testing and you release the product into the customer environment or to the customer testing. He find
Yeah.
different bugs. He'll bring it
Yeah.
to you. You will go and check it again.
Mhm.
Yes.
Time consuming and the
And it
money is
didn't
expended.
meet the requirements.
Is it?
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. And then they're gonna send it back again, and they have to start over.
Yeah, so it is reducing your
Yeah.
cost or it is increasing your cost? It is
Reducing
increasing your
our
cost.
Reducing.
Yes.
It is
Reducing.
increasing your cost if you're not doing end-to-end testing.
Oh, if
Yeah.
you don't, yes. But
Yeah,
if we
if we
do,
If you're
don't,
doing end-to-end
yeah.
testing, they're reducing your cost because it's not going
Yes.
to come back and forth.
yes.
Like when we do end-to-end testing, we reduce the cost.
Yeah.
In short run, you are seeing maybe the cost is little high, but in long run, it's very low.
Yeah.
So, understand?
Yes.
So, there are a lot of things. End-to-end testing. What is end-to-end testing? Why you do end-to-end testing? What is the benefit of end-to-end testing? What is the purpose of the end-to-end testing?
And testing.
So, if you know all these things, you can tell him like 5
Nail
minutes
it.
what is the end-to-end testing.
You will nail it.
Yeah, and we
Got
can
it.
keep talking about it if we know these things.
Normally, how many questions they're gonna ask the interview? Like 6, 7 questions, no?
What is the functional testing? This is not time
Oh,
how many questions they ask.
No,
Focus on
normally-
the things.
Functionality of the product.
What is the functional testing?
So first,
Functional-
functional testing is like
Go ahead.
testing the functionality of the product, right?
How function work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How the function works.
Yeah.
Testing the functionality of the application under test.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you can say verify each function of the software application that behaves
Works
as is
properly.
specified in the requirement documentation. So a lot of the way you can tell, right? By testing all the functionality, you can verify whether the actual output is matching with your expected output or not.
Yeah.
Or it is failing, or it is within your scope or out of your scope.
We identify that. Yes.
So in
And
simple words,
normally,
what the system actually
okay, the
does is the
functional testing
functional
is like a
testing.
black box testing.
And it's also a black box testing.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I also say like functional testing is the process of process by which we determine that the function is functioning as per requirement.
Yeah,
How is function work?
the function is working or function is
Working on as per
working as
requirement.
per requirement document,
Requirement,
meeting with our requirement documents or working
Yeah,
as we
specification
expected.
or documentation requirement. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's a system actually what the function is doing, and you can verify each functions of the software and find out how it's behaved as per required documentations, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And also you can test all the functionalities by providing some inputs, right? Appropriate inputs or valid inputs, and verify whether your actual outputs is valid or not. By
Yes.
that you can say your functionality is working right or wrong.
So unit testing and integration testing like a functional testing, and system like a non-functional.
No.
All of them are functional testing.
System also functional because we have to check the functionality of the system.
Like security, performance,
Those are
regression.
non-functional.
Yeah, non-functional. Yeah, that's why I'm talking like a system like a non-functional.
This is functional system testing.
System testing is functional testing because where you're testing the whole system as a unit. So
Yeah.
so that's not a non-functional testing. On the
So
other hand,
what are the functional testing? What are the non-functional testing? What is the difference between function? Okay, what is the non-functional testing?
Functional like a
No
we were
functional testing. What are the
Yeah.
non-functional testing?
non-functional like a this is the like a lot of things, stress testing, performance testing, load testing.
non-functional testing is like the aspects of the performance, stability, and usability of the software.
Yeah, performance.
Yes,
Yeah,
performance,
Performance, load, stability,
Yeah.
security,
Yes,
compatibility,
yes.
everything.
stability.
The main
Yes.
focus is what? The main focus is to improve the user experience, right? How the
Correct.
Yeah.
system is
Yeah.
getting response when you're sending a request. How fast is loading? How long you need to wait during peak hour, whether your system is crashing or is
Yeah, how load
working
it
as
can take.
expected.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the main focus of the non-functional testing is to improve the user experience. How the user is.
Do you
What?
know why it's saying non-functional? Because without these tests, you can still perform those functions, but
Yes.
these are to improve the
The
performance.
function
Yes.
is gonna work, but it might be work. Let's say
Slowly.
the load will be maybe like half an hour after you get the home page load on
Yeah.
your computer,
Yeah.
right? It still is working.
It's
But user
working.
experience, what are you gonna do? You're gonna use that application.
No.
So
No.
you see, non-functional testing is main focus to improve the user experience, right?
Exactly.
What the user wants and how they want, how it's compatible they are using the
Yeah.
system or use the application. So for that reason, we do non-functional testing. Some of the non-functional testings are load, stress, stability, security, compatibility, everything. Right?
Yes.
So here you're not testing the function of the application, but you're testing the behavior of the
Non-functional.
application.
Performance.
Yeah, performance
Behavior
of
of the application or performance of the application.
Or
right?
behavior of the application.
performance.
What is the difference
stability,
between the
usability,
functional and
yeah.
non-functional testing? What is the difference between this non-functional and functional?
Like the
So the
functional,
functional?
in functional testing, we test the functionality, and in non-functional testing, we test their performance or behavior.
Yeah. So in functional testing, we actually does test what the functions do, right? What the function do.
Yeah. Mhm.
And in non-functional, we're testing
How
how the system performs,
it
right?
works.
How
Mhm.
the
But the
system
end
In
user
works.
terms of
experience.
functionality.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my brain is talking. I was exhausted.
What else? In
What
functional
else?
testing, we're verifying the accuracy, right, of the software,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Against our
it's
expected
functioning
or
as per
actual result,
requirement or
right?
not. Yeah.
Whereas in non-functional, what it is doing? We're verifying what? We're verifying the behavior of the software, right?
Yeah.
In various conditions, right?
Yeah.
So two different things, right? Here we are verifying how the functions work, right? Against our expected and actual, right?
Correct.
And here we are seeing how the function is behaving, whether it's loading in a timely manner or is taking too much time or is breaking
Yep.
down. So it's the behavior of the various conditions, right? We're testing it. So what are the testing types, functional testing types? Unit,
I-
smoke,
Unit testing, integration test.
what else?
Lot of testing.
Like a smoke testing, sanity. No, no.
No, it's smoke
Yes.
sanity now.
Yes.
Are we
of course.
talking about functional or non-functional?
Yeah, functional.
Why
Unit.
not?
What? No, I'm confused now.
We are talking functional testing, no?
Toa is telling that smoke testing is not a function. Why not? I'm asking.
No, it's not. I'm talking security, sorry.
Yeah, smoke testing we do
That's
like the
Yeah, functional. Functionality, yes.
it's functional.
So
We
unit
just talked
testing,
about functional testing already. The unit testing,
smoke
integration
testing,
system,
user
system
acceptation,
testing.
integration,
Yeah.
regression, localization,
Yeah.
validation,
Regression. Yeah.
interoperability, right? All these things are functional testing. Non-functionals, performance,
This
volume, scalability, load testing, stress testing, right?
Stress testing. Yeah.
Compliance testing, right?
Mhm.
Disaster recovery
Yeah.
testing,
GUI testing.
usability testing. GUI testing is a functional. It's not a
Functional.
non-functional.
You're
course.
testing the interface. So yeah, it's a function.
So I just think like non-functional is like we'll test how they act, and functional will do
behavior.
what it should do,
Yeah.
what the function does.
How we do?
How we do, no, not how, like what the function, like acting. That's
How
non-functional.
the function is behaving.
Behaving,
Yeah.
what is their activity? What is their behavior? That's the non-function.
Behavior means behavior and working is not same thing. The function is working, but is behaving like, let's say, the page is loading after 1
Yeah,
hour.
it's not.
Homepage.
Yeah.
So
That is his behavior, whereas the function is working, is loading the homepage still.
Okay.
okay, easy example should be the login functionality. So when we test that, when we provide valid username and password, are we able to log in? That is functional. And non-functional is you're putting username and password and then it's taking 10 seconds to go to the next page.
Mhm.
So that's the load function. That's a performance. That's the
Mhm.
behavior.
Yeah.
That's a non-functional testing. Yeah.
Clear so far? Functional, non-functional?
Sure.
Yes.
So, what is acceptance testing?
Acceptance testing like a free
Acceptance
production.
testing.
Yeah. Last level of testing, like a free production testing. Before production, we get the like user acceptance, customer, how they accept this thing.
Anything else? So this is the acceptance testing is done after you're
Free-
done with your system
System
testing,
testing.
right?
System
Yeah.
testing, yeah.
So before you release to the customer environment, customer need to test it, right? And accept it.
Yes.
Yes.
That is called acceptance testing, right?
And it is, yeah, this is the final one. Yeah.
Is it like formally conducted to determine whether application is developed as per requirement or not, right? And that allows your customer to accept your product or reject the product.
This is where we get the approval from the user as well. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
Like when they
sometime
use, they decide
acceptance
they're gonna
testing
accept
is
it or not.
alpha, beta, and gamma testing, right?
Yeah. Beta. But alpha, beta, and what?
Gamma.
Gamma.
And
Okay.
I know that, but in this in the testing scenario, what is that? Alpha, beta, gamma. Alpha is the first level of testing, and then beta is before
I
release.
think
or-
alpha is the testing environment and beta is the customer, like user environment, right, Baya?
Tell me. You should
Yeah.
know.
Yes, beta is the like a smaller. Yeah, alpha is the testing environment and beta is the customer environment.
Beta, as far as I have experienced in my life, like there are like some software that go for beta testing. It's
So
like release it
alpha,
to small group of
alpha
people.
is
In-house.
testing in-house to the customer environment where
Okay.
the customer gonna sit down and test it
Okay.
as their user. They're gonna test it how they normally work on their application, how gonna test, right?
That's
There is alpha
alpha
testing.
acceptance testing. Okay.
And beta is when, let's say, they build a homepage yahoo.com. They test it on their environment and they find some defects and they fix it and then everything is fine, right? Now they release that to the internet, right?
Yeah.
But it will say the beta version. Means
Mhm.
like it is not officially released yet.
Mhm.
Means
Yeah.
they release to the internet. If people are gonna use it, they're gonna put the comments, their
Yeah.
experience. They're gonna
Yeah.
take those things. They're gonna come back again and sit down and see what can be done to improve their
Improve the performance or
performance
Like
or
it's
load
not
or
the like
the
usability.
look or color, visibility, all
Yeah.
this, anything, right?
How to make it more user friendly. Yeah.
Yes. So after once they done that, then they release that is official Yahoo homepage.
And that's gamma.
And that's the gamma, that's the third and final software
Okay.
stage.
Gamma is the last one. Okay. Ultimate release.
Well, product before stage before product release to the market means like when before they release to the product to the officially to the market, right?
Yeah.
From the beta testing, what they got.
They fix those things and then
First
test again.
then test it again. That is the gamma, and then they release to the market finally.
So gamma happens before release. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
before the official release to the market.
Okay. Okay.
Clear,
Clear.
Polly,
Yes.
Yes.
Toha.
Yes. The acceptance testing, like three kind, alpha, beta, gamma. In-house, after open house, and finally go to the customer is gamma.
In-house customer environment and
Gamma, beta and gamma both in customer environment, but gamma testing is to get review from the customers to know that like what are the things they want the changes to be made to have a better performance or better experience. And after that, after
So
fixing
alpha is
those
like
things in
in a
gamma,
small group,
Yeah.
whereas beta is like broader group release.
Right. Yeah.
Testing.
and gamma is like after all the addressing all the issues in beta, they release
Yeah,
it.
they fix and test it before
Test
they
it
release
again
to
in
the
the
market.
gamma level. Yeah, before the release. Okay. Okay.
So on what basis the acceptance plan prepared?
Oh, trick question. Should be
What
easy.
is that?
On what basis the acceptance plan prepared? Means like
Production is
you
like a
It should be
for
based on the
acceptance
requirement document,
testing,
right?
you need to create your
Acceptance.
acceptance plan, right? And you will prepare,
Yeah.
right? Then what
Based on the
basis you
requirement
do that?
document.
Yeah.
Am I right? I don't know.
Requirement like
What
all
else?
their product performance, stability,
Yeah,
scalability,
requirement
everything.
document, yes.
Oh, okay.
Because the
Yeah.
requirement documents will specify, right? What exactly
Yeah, the
needed and
basis
what's
should be
needed,
what
right?
was the requirement, right? They're gonna accept
Based on
it
your
based on the
project
requirement.
of your
Yeah.
customer perspective.
Yeah.
From the customer perspective, your requirement document is the top priority to define your base, right? Because it's given what need to be done, what not to be done. what they want to build to you, right? And what you built, right?
Yeah.
What else?
Polyapu, we have to think simply. We are complicating the things. Okay.
And
Um,
this one I didn't understand the question because everybody is talking like I couldn't
Oh,
catch
okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah, I
The
couldn't
question
catch it.
was
Sorry.
on what basis the acceptance plan prepared. Like you're going to do the
Like based on the
acceptance
requirement,
testing.
Yeah.
based on
Requirement, what
the
else?
their expectation, right?
Requirement documentation,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Because the requirement documentation have specifies all the things that customer needed, right? Want
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
What
Like
Based
else?
on
all the
customer
customers'
perspective, yeah, whatever they discuss
expectation.
with
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
So what else? That's all?
Instability and upgradability.
What is the upgradability? No. What else?
In
So input from the customer, right?
Yes.
You are doing requirement analysis, you're giving to the customer. The customer is going to provide a feedback, right? Input, right? What is wrong, what is right? We need it
Okay.
or not, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
So
they'll give you the input, right? Also,
yeah, after based on the
they can
basis of
send
the
you email,
requirement
formal email,
documentation.
right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
informal way, they can talk,
Uh-huh.
tell you informal way, talk you or discuss with you, right? So we need these things. Okay, no, don't want these things. Or if we do these things, what gonna impact, right? So they are giving also the input to you.
Yeah, I have to make it simple. Yeah. It's simple, Polyapu. If you think like this, that
Yeah.
we have created a
We are
product and
thinking
give it
too
to
much.
someone, yeah, they're gonna give us feedback, right? Like, I want this is can you make this red, or can you change this from this front to that? These are the things they're gonna give us the feedback. We have to
And
work on those things as
the
well.
project plan, right?
Yeah.
Simple
Oh
as it
yeah.
is. You requirement document, input from customer, the project plan, right? There is a plan in
Yeah.
place,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How long
We
it will
created
take,
that.
how many resources there. Your project man has created it, right? When he can deliver it, right? So you need to follow that, right? The document he prepared, right?
So requirement documentation and project plan. Okay.
So kind of these things are basis where your acceptance plan can be prepared, go to the
Prepared.
customer, right?
Yeah.
That we have done all these things based on these things, and you can test and accept or reject.
Or give your feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So alpha
Okay.
testing already I told you is like
Yeah.
in-house,
Mhm.
Consider question.
and beta is done by our end user before delivery.
Yeah.
And gamma testing is done when the software is ready to release for the market, right?
yes.
But can we see your question?
I told this function, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Except basis. Yeah.
Alpha, beta, gamma, right? So what is the smoke testing?
Nobody.
What is the smoke testing?
Polyapu, you're muted.
Only talking on mute?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah. What
Like
is the
smoke
smoke
testing,
testing?
like a testing without any documentation from their experience, right?
Tell me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the smoke
Hmm.
test.
Is it?
I'm not 100% sure. I think that was the minimum software testing requirement.
I know there was like the what are the testing is
Ad hoc,
ad hoc
sanity.
testing, yeah, sanity,
What
yeah.
else then?
Like we do what is that
So
called?
these
Like
three things is like,
exploratory testing
yes, these three, four
Exploratory.
is like kind of like confusing.
without
Actually,
knowing the
right?
documentation. Like tester test based on their experience.
What is the smoke testing?
Smoke testing is the testing method where we test the minimum the test functionalities that
So
are
smoke
required.
testing is done to make sure that if the build, right? Before
Yeah.
you test, there will
Production.
be build. It will be released the build, right? Build version 1.0.01, 1.0.2, something like that, right?
Mhm.
Actually,
So
production is stable or not.
it's done to make sure if the build that you receive, right, from the
Okay.
development team, right, is
Okay.
testable or not testable,
Okay.
right? You sometimes call day zero check, right? Your day one is starting from day one, you're going to start your testing, right? Before day zero, you are going to
Oh, yes.
smoke test whether to check the build they release is testable or not. If it is not testable, how are you going to do standard testing? The build is failed. Sometimes we call BVT testing, right? Build verification testing.
Or sanity testing, yeah.
I don't think both are same,
Like
but
yeah, smoke testing
No.
is like, now I understand,
Sanity
like
testing and a smoke is not same.
Same,
Completely
yeah.
It's not
different.
same.
But it looks-
which one?
Smoke and
sanity.
sanity is not same.
So it helps your
Yeah, it is also known as sanity testing.
not. It helps you what? Not to waste your time, right?
Yeah, because when we do the smoke testing, we find out that if the
The ho-
application is ready for the market.
The whole application when
Yeah.
there is a key features not working, right? And or they have some bugs, right? Which is not have been fixed yet. So basically, whenever there is a new build or new functionality added, right? Before you do any testing, there will be a regression, there will be some smoke testing conducted.
before the test begins, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The regression is to check previous functionality is working on fine or not,
Mhm.
and a smoke
The new
test to check
functionality.
whether the new release build is working fine or not.
How is it then performed before the testing begins? Because so it's like who's gonna do the smoke testing?
Just I'm gonna do it.
Tester.
So
Your job.
so before we start testing each individual functionalities, we are gonna do a smoke test,
Yes.
and on that
We'll have a
smoke test,
regression test also.
on that smoke test, what will be our focus? To see that the main functions are performing
Yes.
as expectation.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And on regression testing,
Regression, they'll a health check. It include
It-
all the function, all the major functionality from all the major areas from all functionalities previously tested.
okay.
regression testing?
Yes.
Like regression testing is like if the pre-existing functionality is works with the new added functionality or modifying functionality.
Yes, that's
Like
what I'm
if there is
saying.
a change,
The
yeah.
regression testing have all the major
Oh,
areas of the test case included in regression bed. So every time
isn't the
you're gonna
integration
test, every time you're gonna test new functionality, you run the regression suite
Mhm.
because that has already previous functionalities, right? All the major areas. So you can see, check before you test, build this new functionality, whether
isn't
your
it?
previous functionality is working fine or not, right?
Yeah, what I read, I think I might be wrong, but it was like if we make some modification or changes, after that we do the regression testing, right? Or no?
Yeah. No?
That's what
No,
that's
no.
my question. I thought that
Yeah,
was
if
regression
we
testing.
need to,
So-
no. If we need to change, add or something or modify, then we need a regression testing.
Yes.
But final result have to be same. It's not anything new coming.
But so what just Uddin bhai described, it says that we have to do the regression testing after each phases to see that the previous functions
Before.
are functioning properly or not. Am I right?
Before, not after.
Yeah, I mean, one phase is done. We are going to start the second phase. Before that, we have to do the regression testing on the
Yes.
previous
To
phase,
check your previous phase is working fine
working
because
or not.
let's say you
Yeah.
start testing your next phase, right? And you
And then
found
I
a
see
bug.
that the previous one is not working.
No. You found a bug,
Okay.
defect.
Okay, and I fixed it.
Now, that defect is for what? How are you going to find it?
I
How
mean,
the
okay,
developer going to find it?
they're gonna read my test cases and then see where it came
No,
from
not
and
only test cases.
retrace
Your
it.
test case is fine. The defect is on code level. How they going to find it? What you
Okay.
going to tell?
Okay, I'm gonna say that like when I was like doing these steps, this didn't perform as per expectation or requirement,
So
right?
if they ask you before that, is that function is working? That function is working. What are you going to say that? Yes or
That's
no?
why. Yes.
How? You didn't test it. How are you going to say yes or no?
No. Okay. No. Yeah.
So that's why you need the regression to minimize
Yeah.
your defect level and root cause level.
So when we are starting a new phase, we are doing the regression test on the ones that we are gonna perform.
When there is a new project that's starting, there is a
Okay.
no regression bed. So what are you going to do? There's nothing to do with regression.
Correct. So once we
You start your
finish one
test,
phase,
right? Yes.
yeah,
And then next functionality you are going to test or build.
we are
So
gonna
the first
test the
functionality, you already, let's say you're finished with the claim functionality, right?
Okay.
Now you're going to test with the payment functionality.
Mhm.
Now claim and payment is integrated together, right? Without
Right.
claim, you cannot get the payment.
Correct.
Now you start going to test the payment function and you found the defect. Now, whether this defect is a functionality level or is defect is because of there is a integrated functionally change that for that level. You don't know. So to find it out, you need to come back again to the claim level, check all these things. Developer need to check all the codes of the claim level, whether there is any problem or not. Then they go to the payment level to check is there any problem, right? So it's like a whole thing into check, right? But if you had regression test run, which is the major functionality area of the functionality of the claim, you ran it and there is a no defect. Your function is working as expected. And now when you're going to test the payment and you found the defect, you can say that this is not because of the old functionality. My old functionality is working fine before you integrate this functionality. So the defect is either with that payment system or its integration level. So they don't need to check your claim functionality. They need to check only payment functionality to find out the defect. Where is the defect? Why the defect is raised? So we check is a health check before you test new functionality. We do the health check where we create a regression suite where all the previous functionalities are included. And we run it before we release the new build and test it. Understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
Asif, you clear? Because you say, yeah, it sounds like you.
Yeah, I am clear, but I'm just like I understand what Bhaiya is saying, but I'm a bit confused about like let's say
Mhm.
we did the login functionality and everything
Mhm.
checked out properly. We went to the next phase. Now we are going to the okay. No, let's do like this search functionality. We have completed that. We found that we can search properly and then add to the cart.
Yeah.
And then we on the next phase when I went to the payment option and there I found a defect. So do I do the regression before I start the payment functionality or
Yes.
yes? And the regression test is gonna be I'm gonna see the
If not, if you found the defect there, right?
yeah.
And now you come back to your search. Now you see another defect there. What are you going to tell? Is it working fine before or not? Can you tell it?
No, No.
No.
Then
So are you telling me, okay, now it makes a little bit sense. So I've done it, that I've checked the search functionality, it worked before, but when I was doing the payment, I found out that the payment function is not working. At that time, I have to do the regression test to make sure that the previous one is working properly or not.
No, I think you first
before
add the payment system. So when we add the payment functionality, we need to go back, like the newly added
before
function.
you add the card, you test it, you run your regression suite. Simple.
Okay.
The regression suite contains all the previous functionalities, the major areas of the functionalities, right? You run the regression suite, you know now all previous functions are working fine. There is no problem.
So do we run that like before testing
That's
any
what I'm saying.
function?
Before any adding any or modification of the any functionality,
Okay.
they modified, they added, right?
Okay.
They build a system, right? They integrate the system with your all other system, right? You're gonna test it, right?
Yes.
Before that, you run your regression. When you run your regression, if there is no problem, fine. If there is any problem, then you can say that because of the new system integrated and built,
Okay.
my old function is broken down. So I need to
Yeah.
fix this first before I go and test that.
The next step. Okay, got it.
If you don't do that, you don't know what happened,
Right.
how the defect came.
All right.
Is
So
for
yeah,
that new
after
code
that,
added,
whatever I'm
or
gonna
is
testing,
broken
everything is gonna
before,
be a net effect. Yeah.
or what happened?
Mhm.
Anyone else any confusion?
So by every process, we have to, after finish, we have to take a integration testing, no?
Before you execute.
Yes. As I said, when
Okay.
there is a
you
code
said like this.
fix, when there is a code fix,
Yes.
right? After you
Yes.
retest, you run the regression test, right? To see whether that fix breaking your functionality or not, right? That's also there.
And for regression test, do we use another software, or we can do it in like, where do we do the regression test, in Jira or?
If your normally regression test has been done automation, you create automation script for the regression. So in that way, it's faster.
Okay.
Instead of checking manually,
Yeah.
create some of the automation script, because those are the functionalities we'll be checking every time on our testing. So that's why
So
create
is it
automation
like
script.
the Selenium you showed us? We have to.
If company use Selenium, they'll use Selenium. If company use HP, they'll use the UFT.
So basically, like if we give the example of the last project that we worked is the nursery. So after we are done testing like a phase 1, let's say, like the login functionality and everything, we are gonna create automation. If the company is using Selenium, we are gonna use that Selenium.
You are not doing, the automation team will create that script and give it to you, so you can run
So
for every
I
test.
just so the next phase, when if there is any modification or any fix or anything happen, I have to run that script to see that everything is working properly or not.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
move on to the next phase. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Even though after you retest, if there is any defect fixed, when you retested, defect is working fine. After
Still
that, you run the regression suite to check whether the fix has broken anything on previous one or not.
Previous one. Yep.
Okay. One more quick question is that let's say there's like 3 software tester working and they're working on different testing, but the suite is gonna run all of them together.
Okay, we'll come back. Like
Okay.
now it's 15 minutes break and come back.
15 minutes. Okay.
Okay, so what is the sanity testing then?
What testing?
Sanity. When you smoke testing.
Yeah.
Why is the sanity testing?
Sanity testing is stability of the system. sanity testing in software
Yeah.
testing is like the stability where we test the stability of the application of the software that we're building.
If sanity testing,
Yeah,
another
kind
name
of.
like a garbage testing.
But
But the sanity testing is done during the release phase, to check like main functionality of the application. So there is a release night today, right? Today
okay.
we are going to release it, right? So there is no time to test everything in deeper, right?
Okay.
That system is right. So what we do this sanity testing. We test some of the main functionality of the systems. So it's to see whether it's working or not. On the release night, we release it and test it in the production level, right? So it is another subset of the regression testing, but this happened in the release level.
That is also automated, or
Yeah, it can be
And-
automated. It can be function manually tested.
Manually
as a
tested,
functionality. Yeah. Or if you have like a regression suite built, you can run that and test it too. So it is also a subset of the regression testing.
okay.
Both are mostly same, but this sanity testing happens in release level, while smoke testing happens when there is a new functionally added or change requirement is there, or there will be a bug fix. So at that level, we do the regression testing.
Sanity testing or regression.
Sanity testing.
No, sanity testing we do release level. Yeah, there is like to check the health of the system. Simply.
So after any fix or like any code changes, we do the regression testing.
No,
or
that's
something?
the regression. That's regression testing.
That's regression. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sanity testing done during the release phase to check like main functions of the applications. So it is also called a subset of the regression. And this done as release level at the time release, because there is a time constraint and we cannot test everything. So we test part of our main functionalities.
Major functionalities or main functionalities. Okay. Okay. So it performs during the release phase. It's when we don't have much time, we instead of doing the whole test each unit, we test the major or main functionalities. It is also a subset of the regression testing.
Regression, yes.
Yes. Okay. Did I miss anything?
So what is the difference between sanity and smoke then? So
Sanity
smoke
is-
test is
Yes.
done to make sure if the build we received from the development team is testable or not, right?
Yes.
Whereas the sanity testing is done during the release phase to check for the major functionality of the application.
Okay.
Smoke test is
So,
done by
like-
both developer and tester, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But
Sanity testing perform is only for tester alone.
tester only. Yeah. What happened
What
if we
else?
find any defects during the stability test? I mean, sanity testing.
Then it need to be fixed. Without
But
that, you
it-
cannot test in release, right? Phase.
Yeah, but you say just it happens during the release phase. So just before
Means
release, right?
release phase means just before release,
Yes,
not on the
and
release.
so if we find some defect that cannot be fixed at that time, then we are not going to release that part. right?
No, no.
Okay,
Yes, we
okay.
do not. We're not going to release that. This
Okay.
case,
Okay.
if there is no time to fix it,
Yeah.
it will be then go to the next release.
Yes. Okay.
So smoke testing build may be either stable or unstable, right?
Yes, at any time.
But sanity testing build need to be relatively stable, right? Without stability, you cannot go for release, right?
Yeah. So that's like a
smoke test,
difference between smoke testing.
yeah, smoke testing is done on initial build, right? When the builds,
Yeah. Yeah, and
they create the build and then they release the build and then you test it, right? But
yeah.
sanity testing is done on stable build, right? That means
Stable
the
Yeah,
build
the
already
final.
has been
and
tested
the release.
and verified, right?
Yes, and on the release phase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So smoke testing is the part of the basic testing, whether the sanity testing is part of the regression testing. because we call it sanity testing is a subset of the regression testing, right? So it's a part of the regression testing.
Correct.
And usually we do the smoke testing when there is a new build release, right?
Yes.
Every time there is new build release, you need to do the smoke testing, right? But sanity testing will be planned on stable build, right? Because we will not have a time to test everything. So it need to be stable build, and we'll just test the health of the application before you go to the release, right?
So every product finally stage, we have to do sanity testing, no? So,
Yeah, before going to the release, every
usually, yeah.
yeah, you have to do the sanity testing before release on a stable build to check the build is still stable, so it does not
Yeah.
break anything in the production.
Like sanitize the product, like finalize the product.
Yeah. So there is a difference between the sanity testing and smoke testing. Right? This is
Yeah.
done, make sure if the build we received from the team is testable or not. And these to check during the release phase, the main functionality, right? So this is the difference between sanity and smoke. And these are like interview questions, the smoke testing, sanity testing,
It's done during
alpha,
the
beta,
research check. Main
acceptance criteria testing, all these things.
subset of regressions. So release level.
So what is the retesting?
If testing has some bug or is not completed, if we need to retest again, so this is if you need to test again, so this is called a retesting.
Not if you need to. You have to.
Like when we log any defect, we as
Is defect, yeah.
we inform the developer, and the developer fix it, either code or whatever his part, and then he send the tester back, and then the tester test it again, which is called retesting.
Yes.
So it's ensure that the defects which
Find out that
were
the
found.
defect is gone. Yeah.
So retesting is to ensure that the defect which we found
Yeah, it's been
during our
fixed.
testing has been fixed, and
The
fix
function
has
is
been included in the current build, right?
current build, yes. The issue has been resolved and the function is performing as per expectation.
What is the regression testing?
Again,
Yeah. After finish one phase,
What
before,
again? We said like smoke
after adding
testing,
anything,
sanity
and before
testing.
executing, we do the regression testing to see the existing functionality is working with the newly added functionality.
So it's repeated testing of an already tested applications, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
We already tested the application. Now we're repeating the testing to check the health of the functionalities, right? After modification or finding a new defect, right? Or any
Yeah.
change request has been accompanied with the functionalities, right?
Yeah.
And to uncover any changes of the software that is tested is behaving same or not, right? Or is
Same.
breaking any other components of the software or not, right?
Moving as per requirements.
Yeah.
So usually when we do the regression testing,
After
adding or
yeah, go
modifying
ahead.
any after adding or modifying any functionality or we complete any phase before executing the test.
so these are the cases where we do the regression testing. When there is a new functionality are added to the application, we do the regression testing.
Yeah.
There is a change requirement, we do the regression testing, right? If there is any defect fixing, we do the regression testing.
Regression testing.
If there is any performance issue and fixed by the performance team, we do the regression testing. If there is any environment change, we do the regression testing. Like database has been updated, right? So we need to do the regression testing to check whether our functionality that has like backend testing included is working fine or not after the database was updated.
Okay.
for any
So these are some cases we do the regression testing. So this regression, retesting, sanity, smoke. These are all you'll get interview questions, and you need to understand this very clearly. When we do the regression testing, when you do the sanity testing, when you do the smoke testing. Okay.
Okay.
So what do you mean by regression and confirmation testing?
Is that the regression testing done before the confirmation? No, that's not it. No.
So regression testing is the team is executing the test against the modified application, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Make sure that whether the modified code does not break anything that was working before, right?
Yes.
Like they create a new module and they incorporate the module, right? Integrated, right?
Yes.
So I do the regression testing to check whether my previous functions are working still fine before we do the testing incorporated one, right?
So okay, and the confirmation
And
comes after
confirmation
that.
testing, usually testers report a bug when the test fails, right?
I'm
Means
sorry, I
like
didn't get it.
normally
repeat
when they do the test, they usually test the testers, right? Report a bug if the test fails, right? That's the bug, right? Defect.
Yes. Yes.
And that dev team release new version of the software after the defect is fixed. And then
Right.
the test team retest it and report that bug has been fixed and working fine. That is like confirming that this is done. This is a confirmation testing. Other word you can say retesting.
So confirmation testing and retesting is the same
The
thing?
same, yes.
Okay.
Clear? Any question?
So far, no, but we have to read and memorize
If
these
it is
things.
same like retesting, then it's good.
Yeah, confirmation testing is same as the retesting.
It's basically what I'm trying is to like assign the definition with the wording. So confirmation testing is to confirm that after a defect has been found and fixed, we retest it
It's
again and confirm that the function is performing.
working fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What is the GUI testing?
To see the graphical interface works properly.
Graphical user interface.
Yeah.
Yeah, user
If-
interface. Yeah.
If anything,
Yeah, so
graphing change,
testing-
if you need to change the graph, any structure, anything.
They test the interface between the application and the end user, right?
Yes.
That's the GUI testing. GUI itself called graphical user interface. So you're testing whatever you see in the screen and the application working the same thing, right? So it's a interface between the application and the end user, right?
Yes.
What is the recovery testing?
Any test, we need to recover the product.
Recover the
No,
product.
recovery testing is like is the like a
I
it
don't know
recovered
this one.
something. It's recovered something. That means it's like retesting.
So
like
this recovery
Like
testing
retesting.
performed in order to determine how quickly the system can recover after the crashes, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Or any hardware failure, right? Or any software failure.
Like something happens and your system is crushed. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
how soon it can recover, right?
you can recover the whole system and
Hmm.
keep running again.
So
Yeah.
this comes under type of what test?
Performance testing, non-functional testing.
Non-functional testing, right?
non-functional.
Yeah.
What is the globalization testing?
It's like if the it's like if it works globally, like what can I say?
Yes, it's the process of designing a software application so that
Yeah,
it can be used or adapted
globally,
various
internationally.
languages or any regions without any changes, right?
Yeah.
So thus the application can have different languages incorporated. So you don't need to change anything. You just choose the language, which language you want to work
Okay.
on,
Yeah.
right? And it can show you in the screen interface that language, right? So it's the process designing the software, right? The application. so that
Yeah.
it can be used or adopted by various languages and regions without any changes. There is a globalization testing. That globally it can be used. And what is the internationalization testing?
Internationalization
I thought
testing.
it's the same as global.
It's the same thing as a globalization
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that- Mhm.
The globalization international testing is the same definition you could say. What is the localization testing?
It just work in the like the
Local area.
mhm, in a specific area, like locally. It works locally. The
So what?
document.
So this is a process of adopting the globalization software, right? The software you used, like globalization testing, right? What happened here? They have a language like Bengali, Chinese, right?
French.
Yeah, like
Portuguese,
like a
France. So those are like
Microsoft
globally, right?
Office globalization.
Yeah, Microsoft is like global languages, right?
Yeah.
Now you can take that software and make changes for a specific region or a specific language by adding the local specific components, right? So let's say I want to use for India only. In India, I have like 36 languages like Tamil, Gujarati, Marathi, right? So I take the global software and make it as a localization so they can use with their local language.
That's exactly opposite of globalization. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So this all mostly same, but just its name defines what it is actually. So you can tell that. What is the installation testing?
No.
Installation testing.
Oh,
The name
installation.
compromise it, right? Did I start recording it?
Yes, it's
I think
recording.
it's
Yeah. It's recording. It's showing, yeah.
Yeah. So installation testing is to check whether the application is successfully installed or not, right? And is working as per expectation, right? Like if you want to test something in Microsoft Word, you need to install that Word, right? And you need to check whether it's installed or not, right? And then you can test it, right?
Yeah.
So once you install, you check that it is successful, that is installation testing. And inspecting as per your behavior, expectation. It's working.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the formal testing?
Is the format that we are using or the way we are representing it's formal or not?
No.
No.
No, it's like formal testing is just to make sure it's not the finalized, right?
No.
No.
So it is a process where the test team tests the applications by having pre-planned procedure, right? They have a plan how they are going to test it, right? And they have a proper documentation, right? There's a formal testing. The test
when
you'll be
the-
doing, right? You will have
So-
a test plan, test strategy, right? Everything will be there, right? Everything will be formally documented, right? You have a documentation, requirement, everything, right?
Okay.
So that is called formal testing. You have a pre-plan, right? You have a project outline, what you do, who will do what, when you will do what, right? And you have a proper documentation, right? It's a formal, right? It's
Yes.
simply formal and informal.
Okay. So what is informal testing then?
Informal, like you don't have any pre-plan, you don't have any proper documentation, but you are
Okay.
from your knowledge, you're just going here and there doing
It's
some
like
testing,
like the kind
kind of an exploratory ad hoc testing.
Yeah,
Those are informal
exploratory
testing.
testing. Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
But if you're doing system integration, those are all formal testing.
Yeah. Okay.
What is the risk-based testing?
Risks recover and the test risks the recover. Risk base.
So risk-based
Any-
testing is something that you identify which modules or functionalities are most
Yeah.
likely cause the failure, right?
Yes.
And testing those functionalities in a priority basis. So you know, like within this application, these are the functionalities most complex and mostly used by the customer, right? So your priority will be that, and you'll be doing risk-based testing means that you first check those functionalities, test those. Okay,
Okay.
clear.
Yes.
So you identify the modules or functionalities that are most likely cause the failures or used by the customers frequently, and then use testing those functionalities. That's called risk-based. What is the competitive testing?
Can you repeat it again, please?
Compatibility testing.
Compatibility. Okay. The system is compatible or not, where we test that the system is compatible with all type of user interfaces that the customer required.
No, not all the user customer. So you're testing whether the application is compatible or working as
Compatible or
expected
not.
in different combination of environment or component, hardware, or software, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like let's say your Chrome browser is working with the
Yeah.
Red Hat Linux or not. It might not. So the browser is different component software, your OS system is different software component, right? So
Yeah.
you're testing both together to check whether it is compatible or not.
Okay.
Clear? What is the exploratory testing?
So testing without any documentation based on usually tester test based on their experience.
Like exploring the functionality of the application without
Exploring this
having
functionality, yes.
any knowledge or any requirement documentation, right? Correct.
Yes.
There is a exploratory testing, like exploring the system or applications without any
Like to
prior
explore the system.
system knowledge or prior documentation or any requirement documentation. There is a exploratory testing. What is the monkey testing?
Monkey testing is the same, like testing of with without having any required document. Tester just test like to check based on from their experience.
Same
If the
thing. So what's
system.
the difference then?
Oh, exploratory testing. Either one we don't find the defect, and one is we find the defect. I remember that the difference. Which
That
one
is a ad hoc and exploratory. That's not the monkey testing.
Oh, that's not the monkey testing. Okay.
Think what monkey does, then you can tell, I think.
Like random jumping from one place to
Yeah.
another.
Yes.
They just
Yes,
check
It's kind of
yes.
like
this
performing
functionality, that functionality.
abnormal action on the application, right? Like
Okay.
purposely
Yes.
to see whether your system is
Purposely randomly.
yes, yeah, whether your system is still stable or is breaking down.
Okay.
Something that is not the karate, but you're doing it forcefully, purposely to see whether the system is breaking or is staying stable or not. So it's a performing abnormal actions on application deliberately in order to verify the stability of the application. It's called a monkey testing. Clear?
Yes.
What is the security testing?
To check the security of the system.
Yes.
Yeah, it's protected or not. Like if there is any chance of
The
breach.
system is secret, like nobody
Yeah.
can hack it.
So whether the system protects the data and maintain the functionality as intended, right? And
Your data is protected.
data is protected and What
Codes
else?
are secured.
Hacker not attacked the
Yeah, so
Plan.
your hacker cannot attack your system, right? Or
Yes.
unauthorized user cannot enter into your system, right? Those are the security testing, right?
Security testing is done by us as well, like testers.
No, this is like non-functional testing,
So
This
okay.
is a developer.
Developers.
not developer.
They put the
What do
code,
you,
no?
what do you guys are talking?
It's done by the test engineer, or
Yes, there is a two
No.
teams, right? There's a set
Yeah.
functional testing and non-functional testing.
yeah.
Security testing is the non-functional. So non-functional
Yeah.
testing team will be doing,
Okay, yeah.
not the developer. They have the developer who will build it,
Yeah, they have to put the code,
security
no?
around the application.
Yeah, security
Every-
around it.
The code is there, everything. Without code, you cannot build your system, right?
Everything is code.
Everything you see,
Yeah,
there is a
everything.
code.
Yes.
But there is functional and non-functional.
So what is the SOAP testing?
Um,
Where we soak the software.
This is almost like a sanitation testing.
Or like sanitation testing? What is the sanitation testing?
Before release any
Like,
bulk,
there's
any
a-
kind of
there's a-
product.
There's a sanity testing, not sanitation testing.
Oh, sanity
Sa-
testing. Yeah.
yeah. Like soap
not the
testing is
same thing.
kind of non-functional, like to check the
It's a
performance.
non-functional.
It's non-functional,
Yes.
yes.
It is non-functional. That makes
Yeah.
sense. But
Mhm.
is it like the
So,
check the stability
It
or
is to test when you're running a system at high load, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, your system can take 1,000 users at a time in the peak hour, right? But what happens if there is a 10,000 user hitting your system at the same
so?
time?
What is the load testing? Is the same? Isn't the
So-
load testing is same kind of?
No.
No,
No,
load
load
testing
like
is
how
like
much
how
load?
many user. Load testing is how many
So,
user.
so load testing is the testing that to check whether your system can take how much load
Yeah, how much load?
at a given time.
And
Right.
so, yeah, okay.
Like if you know your system you design for 1,000 user, now there is a 3,000 user comes at a time, it can take a load or not, whether it's baking or not baking, right? There is a load testing, right? How much load it can take, right?
Okay. And
Whereas
so,
soap testing is the same, that running the system in the high load for a prolonged period of time. Let's say you're running for 10
so
hours.
okay, so the how long it can take it? Okay.
Yeah. Whether the system is baking in 1 hour or 2 hour or 9 hour or 8 hour.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like when
Or
a
your
system.
performance is decreasing or having problem. Those are the
Yeah.
soap testing.
Yeah.
Okay. So load is how much it can take, and soak is how long it can take it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
What is the endurance testing?
Yeah.
Like 8 months and how long?
Endurance.
How much the system can endure.
Same thing. Soap testing and endurance testing is the
Yeah.
same.
So
How
it's
much time it can, how long
Okay.
it can survive, or how much
Okay.
load it can take and how long it can take when it's breaking.
Load
So
testing.
soap and endurance testing is the same thing. So either soap or endurance testing, as I can tell, it's the same thing.
Yeah, endurance is the same timing, like how much time. If it runs for the long time, then system.
How long the system endure the
Yeah,
So-
like if it runs for long time, then the system do the same output, like
stop
the same
here.
service.